If you died today, how would you be remembered? How would you be remembered? Would they tell stories about you? And if they did, what are the stories they would tell? You know, oh, he always brought home a check. He made sure we always had food. He he was a conscientious lover. I mean, those are good things. You should be doing those things. But the truth is, you were made for more than that. I don't know if you know this, but your dad, well, he created the universe and he said he made you in his image. You're made for more than that. When you die, they should be telling you stories that give glory to your father. But so often that's not the truth, is it? And there's something inside men, there's something deep inside of us that wants to leave something when we're gone. It's part of our biological drive to reproduce, right? We want children that have our name on it. If you look at our president, right, everything he built, he put his name on it. We want to be remembered. In the movie Troy, this little kid goes to get Achilles and he gets up on his horse and he says, "That guy's huge. I wouldn't want to fight him." And Achilles looks down at him and says, "That's why no one will ever remember your name." It's part of our that heroic journey. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to tie a towel around my neck and I'd run through the house saying "Super John John," and I wanted to be a superhero. I'm sure you did too. It's part of our drive as men to be heroes, to be heroic, and that gets crushed out of us. But that's part of who we are. And so when I ask you the question, what stories are they going to tell? If you died today, what stories would they be telling? And there was a time not very long ago where my my stories were not going to be good. I mean, I'd done a lot of cool stuff. I'd started a bunch of churches. I'd coached people in how to start churches. We fed the homeless. A lot of great stuff, but it's amazing how you finish is really what's important. You see, Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. You got to get to the Omega. You got to get to the it is finished, right? And that's what we're called to. That's what the Omega brother is about. And if you stick with me, I'm going to give you three secrets if you will that will help you to start on a path towards being remembered to the glory of your father. So stick around and the end, the last one, it's going to cost you something. It's you see we're called to finish well. I wasn't finishing well. I was I was stuck on a couch for 3 years, man. After my gym crashed, my body fell apart. I was broken. I was fat. I felt ugly. And I had just this intense chronic depression that lasted 3 years. I was in constant pain. And I was asking myself, when is this going to end? And I didn't care if it ended by me croaking or if it ended by, you know, the depression going away. When we're caught up in what other people want us to be, when our personality gets switched so that we think we're going to be happy if we do the things that other people tell us will make us happy, we're never truly loved because love has conditions on it. Whether the people that are loving you are putting those conditions on you doesn't matter because you've put the conditions on you. And so you act, you play a part You try to do the things that will make other people love you, that you think will make other people love you, and you never measure up. And even when you do, you know they're not loving you. They're loving this creation that you made. Some of us make a whole bunch of them. There's the church me, and there's the gym me, and there's the husband me, and the father me, and then there's the work me, and he tends to be an asshole. And then there's the me when no one else is around, and oftentimes that me is just seeking for something to distract me because that's the me that knows I'm a fake. I'm pretending. And look, man, I don't like that. Uh, you're a poser. Oh, that as an old punk rocker, do not call me a poser. But the truth is we do. We pose. What I've learned through this process of coming out of that pit, I want to put my name not on a building. I want to put my name on works that glorify my Father. So the first one is you have to build more than you consume. You have to build more than you consume. See, the world is full of consumers. I mean, think about it. How many of us go to church for what we get out of it? And we're happy to put the money in the plate. Just give me what I need. Give me a good band, some uplifting music, a pastor that knows how to speak a little bit, maybe says something out of the Bible that convicts me. It's kind of like a spiritual pornography in a way because we're trying to live off other people's experiences of God um, instead of having them ourselves. We're consuming our faith. A lot of us consume in our relationships too. You know, I'm friends with this guy because when I'm around him, I feel better. You know, when you build your faith, when you build your relationships, when you build your abilities in your job or you build your business, you're building something. People will remember what you built. We're not weak, we're not tired. We've just been working for the wrong things. What have you built that's going to outlive you? Second thing is we have to bleed for what matters. Jesus says that there's no greater love than a man who gives his life up for his friends, for the people he loves. There's no greater love than bleeding for the ones that matter to you. And then he goes further and says, they're all supposed to matter to you. Who's my neighbor? Everybody's your neighbor. We spend so much time bleeding for shit that just doesn't matter. And that's why we wind up in these situations where, they call it midlife crisis or whatever, but we're giving our life essence for things. We're not treasuring the things that really matter. If you show me your checkbook, if you show me your bank statement, I'll tell you what you're really putting your heart on. I'll tell you what you're bleeding for. If we're bleeding for the wrong things, we're slowly dying. Are you bleeding for the things that really matter? Are you bleeding for the people you love? Are you bleeding for shit that's just going to burn one day, going to be stolen? That's going to wear out. We have to build more than we consume. The second one is that we have to be bleeding for the right things. And this third one, guys, this one changed my life. And I guarantee it will make a difference in your life, but you have to put it into practice. We have to armor up. In Ephesians, Paul talks about that. He's looking at the Roman soldiers that are keeping him company in jail, and he talks about putting on the armor, you know, the sword, the shield, the chest plate. We're not called to be taken away by the current of this world, but we're supposed to stand against the current that leads us towards selfishness, that leads us towards materialism, that leads us towards a life that doesn't actually help anybody but ourselves. I know a guy says all the time, men want to get laid and get paid. And you know what? I like both of those things, you know, but that's not what I want. What I want is to be a man made in the image of God, reflecting his creator. If I'm going to do that, I have to armor up. And the way that I've learned to do that, and the way I'm going to challenge you to do it right now, is to think about the 5 pillars that hold up a man's life: faith, family, fitness, finance, and frontiers. The Forge 5: faith, family, fitness, finances, and frontiers. I want you to commit every single day before you go to work. That's 5 tasks. Faith, right? I actually do a few every morning. I meditate, I pray, I read my Bible, and I journal every morning. Pick one. Even if it's just one verse, do one thing every single day before you go to work that's putting life and blood and meaning into your faith. The second thing is your family. Now, I consider my family to be my community, so I include my friends. And what I do every morning before I get into work is I'd send 3 texts just to a friend, to my kid, to my wife. 3 texts. Simple. If it's, because I get up really early, so if it's super early, I'll just write the texts and I'll send them later. The other thing I do every morning, because my wife feels loved when I do it, is I do some chores. I clean the kitchen and make coffee. So when she gets up, she has a clean kitchen and her cup of coffee's waiting for her. I do that every morning. It's a habit. The third thing, your fitness. And you know what? If you go, a lot of the men's stuff right now is they just tell you lift weights and eat better. Lift weights and eat better. Why do they tell you that? Because if you lift weights or exercise, go to jujitsu, go swimming, go surfing, if you do something physical, it makes you feel better and it keeps you healthy. And if you feel better and are healthy, it makes a difference in every other aspect of your life. If you're run down and you're trying to pray, you're not trying to pray, you're trying to sleep. Your fitness matters and it's measurable. And if you do a little something every day, you're going to see a difference. You eat right, you lose weight, you start keeping your muscle on. It makes you feel better. A lot of people start there, and I think it's a great place to start. Do something every morning before you go to work to take care of your fitness. And that could be mental fitness as well. In fact, it should be. And then your finances. Pick one thing. Now, for me, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've hated money my whole life. I I have always thought that money was evil. Um, and I realized that I was just scared because I saw money really fucked people up, and I didn't want it to do that to me. So I was scared of having it. So I sabotaged my whole life. And so for me, I'm having to learn that, you know what? If I have enough to take care of things and enough to give, then in that taking care of things and giving, I'm honoring God. So for me, sorry, I got off on a tangent. For me, money and finances is something I've always struggled with. So for me, what I do is every morning I learn something about finances. I learn something that's going to help me to grow in my financial income, uh, help me save money, help me invest money in a way that's responsible. Every morning I do something to help me grow in that area of my life. And then the last one is frontier. This one's a little bit tricky. Every morning I imagine one thing that I want to do. I love New Zealand, man. I love New Zealand. I love my Maori bros. I just love it, and I want to go back. It's been a while. Before COVID was the last time I went. I used to go every 2 years, and so I know I want to go back there. I want to see my friends. I want to do things that I haven't done, and in order to do that, well, I've got to start taking steps. For me, I got to go to the gym. I got to eat right. I got to get in shape, and I got to work on my jujitsu. Because when I go to New Zealand, I get paid to go. I teach jujitsu seminars, and it pays for my ticket. If I want to go, if I want to expand my frontier, I have to do the things that are going to get me there. And so every day I try to take one step towards some of the frontiers that I'm looking for. One of your frontier could be in your faith. I want to read the Bible all the way through, from cover to cover, every single word. Okay, so what are you going to do? I'm going to read 3 chapters a day. That'll get you through in a year. But you're taking a step towards something that is a goal, that is a, a, a for me, it's all competition, right? I want to win. I want to win. For me, it was like, look, I don't want to read the Bible all the way through in 1 year. I want to do it twice in 1 year. Whatever it is for you, what is that one thing? And make it a small thing at first if you have to. And then take a step every day towards that goal. And look, this is going to take some sacrifice. And you might, I'm not giving you the old bullshit. Just pray and read your Bible. I'm talking about making a difference in your faith. Okay. If reading the Bible doesn't do it, well, I can help you with that. But if you need to grow in your faith, I don't care if it's meditation, sitting quietly, spending some time with the people in your church, do something every single day until it becomes second nature. Jordan Peterson, one of the most popular men's speakers in the world, and what is what does he start with? Clean up your room and make your bed. Just clean up your fucking room and you're going to grow as a man. And you know what? It's working, right? Hey man, I feel better. Every morning I start with a task that's completed. So what I'm telling you is, if you want to be an Omega man, if you want to have stories told about you that give glory to your Father, start with habits and make them small enough, but do them every single freaking day. And if you do that, I guarantee your life will begin to change. But start building these habits into your life. Because I'll tell you, man, that couch, if you're on it, it sucks. If you're not on it, I don't want you to get to it. And if you're past it, brothers, we got to stay out of that thing. If you made it this far, share this with someone that you think it would make a difference in their life. Join the brotherhood, man. If we don't do this together, we won't do it at all. I I was a professional MMA fighter. And I'll tell you, every fighter needs a coach. Every fighter needs training partners. If you don't have training partners, you ain't getting any better. And if you really want to grow, you need to start teaching. I understood jujitsu so much more when I was teaching it. You need a coach, you need training partners, and you need to be helping other people. And that requires a brotherhood. So look, man, join the brotherhood. Links in the description, and please share this with someone. Alpha to Omega, A to O. Let's go. A-O, let's go. Look, this isn't about motivation. This is about resurrection. We need to be resurrected. There's no stories about our lives if they're not alive. We need that. Guys, we've got to give it all away. We got to give away our compassion. We need to give our love. We need to give our understanding, our courage, our strength. We need to be poured out. That's how you finish well. An Omega man finishes empty. It's all been spent, it's all gone. And he can say, I finished the race, got to the end, put the medal around my neck. I've been poured out for Christ. That's the only way to resurrection. It's the only way to finish well. And Omega men finish well.